All right. Defensive line has obviously been stacked with NFL players and has been the strong unit on this team, along with wide receivers. But on the defensive side, of course, during this championship run, so it makes a big difference who's coaching. So Todd Bates has gone to Oklahoma, and he's got a replacement, though.
Yeah, Nick Eason's going to replace Todd Bates. And I'm, you can call me a homer or whatever. I think this was a home run hire. This was the guy Dabo Swinney wanted, and he went and got him. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he's going to be paying Eason the same exact salary as he was paying Bates after Bates' raise, a few weeks ago. But anyways, I really like this hire. I know Eason's only coached at the college level for 1 year, but he's spent a lot of time coaching in the NFL. He's coached with the Browns, he's coached with the Titans, he's coached with the Bengals. And I think that's something, a quality that Dabo Swinney was looking for in this coach. He wanted a guy with a lot of NFL experience and a guy he thought was going to be able to go out and be a strong recruiter. And I think that is exactly what he's got, Nick Eason. Some of the older Clemson fans will remember Eason. He played for Clemson, was a defensive tackle for Clemson, back in the mid 2000s, I think it was. A really good player. If he's anywhere close to a coach as to what he was as a player, Clemson's going to be just fine. And he's really going to have to hit the ground running because, like I touched on a minute ago, 2023 is going to be a critical class for Clemson, especially along the defensive line. They really got helped out with Tyler Davis coming back, KJ Henry coming back. That really eases it makes missing on some of these defensive linemen in the last class or two. You don't feel it quite as much because if those guys are gone, you're paper thin along the defensive line. Let's be honest. And it's sounding like there is a possibility Xavier Thomas might come back. I have been told he's contemplating it. We'll see. I don't know that. Don't take that for fact. I've just been told he's at least considering the possibility. We should know before the weekend. And if they get him back, man, that's just that's another big recruiting win for Dabo Swinney, because after the Wake Forest game, he had said that was his final home game. He's let it be known a couple of times that he was gone after this season, which is totally understandable. He's got a family already that he's looking to support. But coming back can only help his draft status. Let's be honest, he hasn't quite lived up to that high recruiting ranking he had coming out of high school. Some of it might have been his fault. Some of it might not have been his fault. I think a lot of it was out of his control. But man, he had a fantastic season this year. A lot of that's not going to show up in the box score. He didn't have a lot of sacks. I think he led the team with quarterback pressures. But man, he lived in the backfield. He was a force on that defensive line this year. And if he does decide to come back and has another year similar to this year, his name will start shooting up the draft boards next year.
And just another note on Bates, while Clemson has generally been the gold standard on the defensive front for the past 7-8 years, Auburn's had a top 5 defensive line most of the time during that. Now, Todd Bates can't take credit for that. He's only been there for 1 year. But if you want to be encouraged by what you may see next year, pop in the Alabama-Auburn game. Alabama had no business winning that game. The Auburn front, I think they had 9 sacks in that game against Bryce Young, and they dominated that game, only gave up about 1.5 yards per carry to Alabama in the Iron Bowl, and only gave up 3 points until the final drive of the game.
Yeah, I really like this Nick Eason hire. I don't think there was anybody else Dabo Swinney could have brought in that would have been a better candidate for the job. I think he knocked this one out of the park.